It's your boy Conservative34, and today is February 16th, 2020. A lot of chatter in the Dave Matthews Band universe as we get Violin in Mexico. See, we get I'm With Her, one of the openers for this outrageously expensive, but if you have the money, it's worth it to go, Dave and Tim Mexico trip. And you have Amos Lee coming in earlier in the night, but the big thing is members from I'm With Her on guitar, what appears to be mandolin and violin, hop in for The Maker and Ants Marching. Now there's a lot of hype. Yes, yes, woo, we got violin back. And yes, you have it for people who paid $5K and up. You do have it. What I want to warn fans about is not to get your hopes up for 2020 that you're going to see more than one at best guest or maybe stand-ins for special events as far as when it comes to violin and Mr. Dave Matthews and what he does. The violin does not appear to be coming back for the full band's concert touring. We're not going to get a stand-in violin player for the tour. At best, maybe one show, just like the Hollywood Bowl in 2018. At best, you will get that. And if I'm wrong, hey, hopefully I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to be realistic here, okay? Dave and Tim in Mexico is a special event. I don't need to tell you that if you're a fan. We've had songs like Trouble work its way on the set list, never to appear ever with the full band. Right? We've had special guest collaborations and cool things that happen because, hey, people are paying $5K and it's Mexico. All right? This will not be something you will see during the full band. We have a couple different things that I've brought up and I'm going to bring up again. Number one, Dave Matthews, while not outright saying it, has alluded to this idea that the music is taking a different direction. He is moving forward without a violin player. In different interviews where he's talked about wishing Boyd the best, but look, this is my direction, this is the way we're sticking, and if you don't like it, don't come to the show. He didn't say that, but again, that's what his comments are saying. The other thing we're seeing, look at the live releases. We've had a couple releases where you've gotten some classic music, right? The Hershey Park show for live tracks, I believe 50, right? Yeah, live tracks 50. And, you've had some other, things slipped out. But the majority of the things that have been leaked out since 2018 for official releases, or even the warehouse discs, and even some of the bonus discs, they are all Buddy Strong era recordings, right? The Hollywood Bowl release we just got on vinyl, which is outrageously overpriced, right? Yes, you have strings, but it's the new era of D&B. That was a one-off with members of an orchestra for the Hollywood Bowl, right? You have the warehouse disc the last 2 years, this current year and last year. They are all songs from this current Buddy Strong era. There usually are songs on these warehouse discs that go back to 94, 97, 02, 2013. It's completely randomly selected, or just the years are randomly selected, and they find some nice cuts as they look back on the soundboard audio. All right. In the last 2 years, you've had nothing but new music. What that tells me is management and Mr. Dave Matthews and his band are saying, look, we are trying to push this new post-violin era. Okay. You'll have a guest orchestra. You'll have a guest when you pay $5K to go to Mexico. But that's it. You're not getting this violin full time. Whether you agree or disagree, that's just the reality of where this band is at. Now, listening to The Maker, listening to Ants Marching, it was cool to hear violin. But what's underrated, actually, by the way, on that Ants Marching, if you listen to it, I will post a link here in this video, and either in the comments or in the description of David, who took these solid videos for the circumstances of being in a GA standing area. The mandolin actually is something that was cooler to me, that stood out more. The violin's still talented. I'm With Her, talented folks. Salute to that act. But the mandolin was more entertaining to me than the violin. Yes, the violin is the heart and soul of Ants Marching from the original recording, but the mandolin stuff is more intriguing to me. And we've had some mandolin players come in and guest even with the full band. Right? We've had some Stanley Jordans with unique electric guitars, guest with the full band. To me, throw in a mandolin player or get Tim on an acoustic guitar, to me, that's what would impact the band more realistically and better. The other thing you have to realize is this. This touring schedule, even for this year for Dave Matthews Band, it is a rigorous tour. It is not just Ants Marching. It is not just The Maker, which is a very popular cover. If you are playing fiddle with this band, you have to learn the entire catalog. I think that's the main reason we haven't seen Brian Calhoun's wife. I believe her name is Ann Calhoun. She's a fiddle player. Brian Calhoun makes the Roxbridge guitars for Dave. That's why we haven't seen her tour full time. These are rigorous tours that the band does, even as it's cutting a lot of shows. It's slowing down its tour. They're not touring for May for the full band. It's starting in June. Even with that, these are rigorous tours night after night after night. And it's hard to get someone to commit to these schedules to be a stand-in violin player. And even with the guests, that still can be logistically hard. They get someone from Mexico, all right? You get an orchestra to come out for the Hollywood Bowl, but that's logistically not feasible for this band. And those fiddle players who are talented, that probably already are signed into other bands. If I'm a talented fiddle player that's not only just knows music theory, but can hang with this type of band, because that's the key too. There's tons of great violin players across the world, but to be able to do what Dave Matthews and his band does, it takes a certain skill set and mindset out of your skill training, however you were trained to be ready. Even those people, this job is not lucrative. Buddy Strong and Jeff Coffin and even Rashawn, they're not getting the cuts that the original core members get. So you're not, and then on top of that, this is a gig that will expire at some point. All right, I hope later rather than sooner, but you're committing to learn a massive catalog, and at any given year, this band could be on its final tour. I hope, again, I wish the best for the band, but Carter's getting up there in age. Dave is getting older as well, and, Tim Reynolds is also getting older. So this band at any year could be in jeopardy of being on its final tour, depending on how everyone who's crucial to the sound feels. So to learn an entire catalog, which Jeff did with a head start of playing with this band in the 90s and knowing the band, being on tour with the band in 97, and also I believe in 98 as well. And if not then, there were other tours. He was in the Ottawa's tour in the 2000s where they played that long 41. Even Jeff Coffin, to this day, still has to learn this catalog. So if you take 3 or 4 years to truly learn the D&B catalog, by the 4th year, that could be the last year of this band's serious full band touring. So it's not something that if you're a talented commodity in violin playing for this type of music, this genre of violin you need for this acoustic rock or jam rock, or however you want to call it, to be that skill set and to be that talented to play with this band, you're probably not taking this band. I mean, people talk about, why don't they take the fiddler from Zach Brown? Zach Brown band has another 15 years that they could feasibly tour. Lord willing, everyone is okay. Dave Matthews Band is on a clock, and I wish them the best, and I want them to do what they need to do with their family. I'm glad Dave's taking May off so he can spend time with his twins that are graduating or going to prom at least, right? They're getting their last year or second to last year of high school. But the reality is this band has a clock, and to get somebody who's going to stand in for a couple years is extremely difficult for violin. Not an electric guitarist, not a keys player, not a bass player. To get someone on fiddle to learn the unique skill set of this band, to learn the vibes and get the chemistry. The chemistry alone, even if someone is uber talented, is going to be hard. Let me know what you guys think. Great for the people in Mexico. I'm glad that they got that. Very solid performances for people playing this live with Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds for the first time. But I don't think this is going to be something you see regularly. Don't get your hopes up. Appreciate what we got and appreciate what we're going to get this summer, but don't expect a fiddle player. It's your boy ConserViz34. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Peace.